Arg! Ahoy there, matey! Welcome aboard the world of boating.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
The radio show devoted exclusively to the boating lifestyle.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Brought to you by worldofboating.com, your internet portal for the boating enthusiast.
I was just looking into buying a boat of my own.
Call World of Boating toll-free now at 1-8888-28-BOAT. That's 1-888-828-BOAT.
And welcome. This is the World of Boating. Greg, your first mate. Barry the Boater, Mike the Mariner, rounding out the crew as we navigate the latest boating news and information. Special edition of the big show today because we're going to kind of divert our float plan, outside of the normal realm of things because Boating Magazine has just put out, or I think it's pretty recent, their 2024 Boat Buyer's Guide. And we figured this would be a good time to just kind of go through what they've picked for the best boats in several different categories. And specifically, just so you know, this is really designed. They put this out every year for first-time boat buyers. You know, someone who's very green to the process. They like the idea of boating. That's pretty much what the World of Boating is your introduction to this fun little industry that we like to call boating. And being a boater and, going out there and cruising the waterways around the world. And this is a good resource. They do a very good job year in and year out to kind of help people, grease the wheel on their first time boating purchase. And, of course, the big thing is what type of boat do you want to get? So they've broke it down into 4 categories. We have runabouts, we have water sport boats, we have pontoon boats, and fishing boats. Those are the 4 categories they do in their boating boat buyer's guide for 2024. So we're going to work down each category, see what they pick, see if we agree with them, and see if we have any additions or thoughts on the picks that they have. Are you ready, Barry?
I'm ready.
All right, Mike, the Mariner, what say you?
I am ready.
Okay, well, let's see if we agree with some of the choices that Boating Magazine has pulled out for 2024.
So what are we starting off first with?
Runabout boats. Now, runabout boats are, you're cruising the waterways, intercoastal down there in South Florida, kind of like Barry the Boater. He lives down there. Just something that you maybe you want to hit the local watering holes along the waterways.
They're a multi-use boat. They generally have a lot of seating, but you can still use them for other things. You could use them for water skiing if you set them up the right way. You could use them for fishing. So it isn't a one specific type of boat. It's sort of an all-purpose thing.
Right. They define it as a boat you want to use for a few hours out on the water, watching the sunset, joining a Friday lake parade, pulling a tube, or hitting a water slide or waterside restaurant. Those type of things. Very utilitarian type of vessel.
So I guess Mike's little baby boat would be considered a runabout.
Well, the Craig Cat might.
Craig Cat.
It's not listed in their choices for 2024, but they actually have 4 personal watercraft like Wave Runners from Yamaha, Sea-Doo, and that kind of thing. But then the other boats are a little bit more, straightforward runabouts in the sense like they have a Zodiac in there, a 19-footer, which that caught my eye, which was the Medline 5.8. And it actually leads off the entire article online. You can find this at boatingmag.com, by the way. Once again, this is the 2024 Boat Buyer's Guide from Boating Magazine. And they lead with this Zodiac video. And I watched that, and I agreed. I like, hey, out of all the runabouts they have listed, I like that the best because I've always thought that an inflatable would be ideal for someone like me because they're lighter. You can pull it with anything, including Honda Ridgeline. Okay, just stop right now, Barry. Don't even say anything else.
I'm only thinking. I'm not
right.
You can pull something with a Honda Ridgeline?
Yes. A Zodiac you can for sure. You can
pull a tooth with it.
And
I
like
could only pull a finger.
Well, you just do that for fun and for ability. Yeah. But I've always liked the idea of having an inflatable because to me it's like a bumper boat. So it's a little bit more forgiving when you're trying to dock it. And like if you're not that experienced, docking a boat. Well, look, it's bumpers. I mean,
Yeah.
you got them built into the vessel. You're gonna get a little forgiving element there. What do you think there, Mike?
Well, so we've been talking about, Colleen and I've been talking about getting a different tender for our vessel. Right now we're using the Craig Cat as our tender,
Right.
but we were talking about getting something a little bit bigger
Right.
as a tender, keeping the Craig Cat, not
Sure.
getting rid of it because
No, we wouldn't want to
it's an
do that.
absolute-
No,
it's a
well, just so
lot.
we're clear, the Craig Cat sits two
It's
people
a fun boat.
in a bench style thing, and it's kind of like I would say it's a bridge between a dinghy and a like a Sea-Doo. I mean, because it goes fast and it's fun, a little
Right.
bit more
and
practical,
that's why we
maybe
bought
too.
it.
Yeah.
Right. So when we were looking before, we had actually looked at inflatables at something like the Zodiac Medline there. And the issue is comfort, getting in, getting out, and how you have to sit on a boat that's 9 feet long.
Yeah.
The Craig Cat was much more comfortable and a whole lot faster, like
Right.
twice as fast. So, and we like to explore a little bit. So if we're pulled into a marina somewhere, we may want to go 10, 15, 20 miles away.
Yeah.
And the Craig Cat gives us that freedom, and it's very comfortable doing that. But what we're finding is it is limiting. If we have 5, 6, 7 people on the boat and we're pulling up somewhere that we have to anchor out and then tender in for lunch or something, which happens quite a bit, we have to make a lot of trips back and forth to the dock,
Right.
from the boat, because you can only take one person at a time.
Mhm.
So we're looking at Zodiacs like the Medline, but we're also looking at old traditional whalers, because if you look at a whaler, it's unsinkable, first of all,
Mhm.
same thing as a Zodiac, but it's because it's using a cord hull, you don't have all the space taken up by the inflatable part, so you get much more interior space.
Right.
Yeah, if you have like
So-
what does that have, a 5-foot beam on a Zodiac, probably 1.5 to 2 feet is taken up with just the pontoons.
Hmm.
Well,
So
maybe, yeah.
you lose a lot of space that way. But
But you get a lot of extra, seat space because people can line up along the pontoon, sit on the side of the vessel.
you like the Zodiacs because you've dove off of them, and it's fun to do a
You
back roll
right off
into the
them
water.
puppies.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
But-
and it's a rigid hull inflatable, by the way, for the record. This one that they have listed,
It is.
19.
Yeah, and that's what we
you
were
could get,
looking at.
yeah, but you want to get something maybe a little smaller than 19, I'm guessing, or would that be about the right size?
Well, so our boat's 40 feet long. Yeah, probably a 15 footer at the most.
Right.
And when you think about, if you're going to use a tender like that for some exploration, you want more interior space and you want a little bit more comfort. I mean, it's you don't want to sit on the side of the boat for an extended period of time. That's not a
Right.
comfortable seating
These are
position.
for short
So-
runs to and
You
from
would
the
be
dock.
using this
yeah.
in the bay a lot, right? You would be using this in enclosed waters, somewhat flat waters all the time.
Yeah, bays or
Mike would,
between
yeah.
islands.
I
mean,
found something online called they're mini pontoon boats, 10, 12 footers, which would carry a fair number of people. And that could be, I mean, it isn't as sexy as these
The
other boats we
Zodiac?
see here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Well, there's
and
a couple
that,
of considerations with that. It's how you're going to. So right now I'm towing, so I don't have a davit
mhm,
on the back of my vessel, so I don't put it in a cradle. I run a 60-foot towing line, and I tow the boat behind me when we
Right.
go on a long trip. So the Craig Cat is back there behind us, and it's unsinkable, won't flip, it's super stable, so it's a great towing vessel. And a Zodiac or a whaler or something similar would
would
be
do the
just as
trick for
good.
that.
Sure.
This
Yeah.
5.8 now, this Medline from Zodiac, kind of the best of both worlds. I mean, you could use it as your regular main boat too. So
Mhm.
he's talking about dinghy use, but just the overall utilitarian of it. I think it's pretty good. All right, we're gonna delve into the next category next on the World of Boating, water sport boats. That's next.
You're listening to the World of Boating Radio Network.
explorer in the other two-thirds of your world. Be the buddy who takes the kids in the aquarium instead of just to it. Be adventurous. Be amazed. Be a diver.
Even Keatley wasn't ready for me, or anything that followed. Chased by a police department, led by his ex-girlfriend, and hunted by brain fork-wielding Fijian assassins, it's everything he can do to keep from getting locked up, killed, or worse. Kava Screw is available as an ebook for $2.99 at Amazon.com. Kava Screw. Put a brain fork in him. He's done.
Hosting a radio show about scuba diving and boating is one of the best gigs on the planet. It's actually part of my job to check out and report on cool new products I personally use to enhance my diving and boating adventures. However, I do believe in sharing the joy, and this is why we've added Nanook protective hard cases to our list of products you can now purchase on the merchandise page at scubaradio.com. Nanook cases are designed to protect the most sensitive equipment in the harshest environments. Underwater photographers, listen up. From their high-impact NK7 resin to their exclusive Power Claw latches, Nanook has raised the bar for those of you that demand the best protection for your gear. Plus, Nanook protective cases cost less than similar products currently on the market. The company has been around for over 15 years, but it's new to the U.S., so we've made a small number of Nanook cases available exclusively for you at a special introductory price on the merchandise page at scubaradio.com. Go there now and check out Nanook, the evolution of protection.
You have successfully navigated the Sea of Commerce and now are clear to cruise with the World of Boating.
I do like the water.
The radio show devoted exclusively to the boating lifestyle.
The sun, the sea air, good friends.
Brought to you by worldofboating.com, your internet portal for the boating enthusiast.
I'm really excited to check out these beautiful waters with you in a really cool way.
All right.
See that boat over there?
Yeah.
I think we're
Is
going
that
to
all right?
sail on it today.
Oh my God, yes.
This is the World of Boating. Greg, your first mate, Barry the Boater, Mike the Mariner, rounding out the crew. Latest season of The Bachelorette has just started. Barry the Boater has been paying attention because he's thinking the next fantasy date that they feature on the show is obviously going to be on a boat. It's the Motion of the Ocean, not the...
It's funny because
Oh.
I've never watched any of those shows. You seem to be most interested
Lies! Okay. Anyway, we're talking about boating magazines, the picks for 2024 when it comes to boat buying, especially if you're a first-time boat buyer. We've covered runabouts. I picked the Zodiac out of their category. You can follow this up online at boatingmag.com if you like.
There was a little Scarab jet boat that I picked out.
You like that one too?
Yeah.
And by the way, the Zodiac was about 60, 65 grand. I think the Scarab
now
was
I
about
gotta
the
go back.
same.
Yeah, it was about the same, and it was,
Yeah.
I mean, they had one as a runabout, a
48-foot
Tiara, and I
Yeah.
go, well, that's one heck of a runabout with three massive
Well, right.
outboards on it.
Or the Formula 290 was only break you for $500,000. So the category's pretty wide.
Yeah,
if you ask
but
me.
What's
for
interesting is the
runabouts.
Formula and the Crown Line, real quick, and the Chaparral, almost all look the same. They all had that forward facing. I don't even know what you call that bar.
Sissy bar.
That I don't know. They had that bar. It looks like something you would have on the back of your car, like a.
Well, that's where you attach your ropes and stuff for wakeboarding and stuff, isn't it?
I don't think so.
I think it can be
because, well, no, the
Just
wakeboard.
depends.
Yeah. So let's get into the water sport bar
Yeah.
boats, which are.
Yeah, those can kind of do double duty. The next category, water sport boats, are specifically designed for wakeboarding, skiing, and that kind of thing. If that's the main activity you want to do, like I said, for me, diving off the back of the boat or having something you can cruise around in, like a Zodiac. It's a Utera Tillion. Yeah, I mean, that.
Easy
That's
for
what
you
I
to
said.
say.
Right.
But quick question. So when
Right.
you look at the first category we were just talking about,
Mhm.
the runabouts, the largest boat's 48 feet,
Right.
and it's a Tiara, and all the way down to a jet ski. Did you look at the layout on the Tiara, that 48-foot Tiara?
It
Look at
looks
the
more like a
opening layout.
yatchet, doesn't
Yeah.
it?
Well, it's got triple, it's got
Right.
triple outboards,
Mhm.
900 horsepower.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. No, wait, it's
Fancy.
well,
Yeah.
no, it's 1,800 horsepower. It's 26. It's three 600 horsepower outboards.
Yeah.
But did you see how the rear deck is configured to lay down, which would be absolutely amazing as
Yeah.
a diving
It's more of a
platform.
yacht. I mean,
And-
it'll break you for a cool $2 million too. So it's
Oh, sure.
quite
It's-
up there. But
for a
you're right.
runabout, it
But
just-
the
it
deck
just-
folds out almost like an RV to make it wider.
Right.
Yeah.
Like when you press the button in an RV and it expands out fatter, you know what I mean? They kind of done that on the back of this Tiara.
And it has a dive door on the side, like I forgot the name of the other one we were just talking about, but yeah.
Yeah, and the back seating actually rotates, and it looks more like
Yeah.
a couch.
But then the gunnels fold down
Yeah.
on the port side.
Yeah, we had discussed that before. That how it gives you a big deck space to just
Mhm.
hang out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
But again,
cool.
it's-
It's just,
yeah.
you're paying for it too.
1.97 million.
Yeah, that's right.
Holy
that's
moly.
right. So, it's gives you more options, I guess. But if you want to focus on water skiing or wakeboarding, that's where the wakeboard boats come into play.
And they're definitely more specific.
right. I mean,
Uh,
you're looking for speed, getting up on plane, being able to tow better, I guess, in that sense.
And they have tanks that you could fill to create a bigger wake. So they're really specifically designed for that. I mean, you could go runabout on those, but
I would
I
say
don't
they,
know.
out of all the categories that Boating Magazine puts out there, these are probably the flashiest looking vessels.
Yes,
They
yeah.
kind of have they go with the bright colors. They're cool, sleek looking, that kind of thing. And I think that's a big part of this category too.
right.
And, but they all, when you look at them just, as a group of 20 or so, they all kind of look similar. Would you guys agree with that?
Yeah, I think the hulls are designed specifically for this. They're not looking to save on fuel or anything like that. They're looking to make either big wakes or big waves so that you
Yeah.
can,
Yes.
have fun being towed behind them.
Is there anything
Plus,
that
they have
stands out in that category to you, Barry? Or are you just like they all kind of look
There
the
was
same to
one.
you?
I mean, they all look the same. The one that kind of popped into my head that I enjoyed the most was I lost it. It was there a minute ago. Here it is. The 2024 Supreme S240. Something about it looked a little different than the other ones. So, but they all have that same. This one actually has a bigger. It's not a bimini top and it's not a T top. It's just an overhang top so that you can go out there and actually, if the weather turns a little nasty, maybe not get so wet.
Yeah, and it does have a metal flake paint job that makes it
Yeah,
kinda
it's
look
beautiful.
Mhm.
cool. I kind of like the look of the Centurion Warrior edition. It's
You
like a
like names.
green, looks fancy, metal
Yeah.
flake. I mean, there's some teak on the, teak looking material on the deck space. It's just an interesting metal flake green color that is kind of cool.
Mhm.
And it's not crazy expensive for that category. You're talking about 350 grand. That's chump change in Barry's
Yeah,
world, right?
Yeah, right.
You
Sure.
don't call that crazy expensive?
Well, I mean, for that category, because these can go way up there too, can't
Yeah.
they? I mean, that's probably it. I'm guessing just looking at all these vessels, that's probably in the mid-range price
Yeah.
point. I'm looking here.
It's
Let's see.
just really stunning what boat prices have done.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
it's
maybe it
amazing.
is at the high end. I'm glancing through
Yeah,
some of
it
the
is, 'cause-
prices. Yeah, I
Because mine's
guess.
about 158,000 and change.
Yeah, so that
But
maybe
the
that
one I'm
was.
looking at is 24 feet. So what was the
Mhm.
length of the one you liked?
Well, it's a 265 Warrior Edition baggage. So, and
Right.
Centurion has like what, 3 of them in here? Looks like they got
Yeah.
3 different models in this category. So they're working that angle. So maybe I guess they're on the high end of that. But yeah, we're seeing anywhere from like 150 and then that one
And
came
and
out
I
at
think that's
$350.
because of the all the added equipment, especially the ballast tanks that they
Yeah.
have to put in these things.
Right.
So very specific. I would not want to have one of these just to go cruising around at the local sandbars and stopping off at the local pubs along the water.
Yeah.
That would be on the pricey side for these.
Yeah. And they
Well,
are.
yeah, I mean, yeah, when you think about it, I mean, you can go buy a Carolina skiff and have all the same room and hang a couple of 200 Mercs or Yamahas off the back of it and get similar performance and
Right.
spend 60,000
Yeah.
brand new all
Yeah.
in.
Yeah, but it wouldn't look as cool. These do look pretty
No,
cool.
you won't look as cool.
Yeah,
but,
and you're probably spending a third of the boat on the sound system with some of these too. They love to pump the tunes.
Yes.
But I'll tell you, the next category, pontoon boats. This is where I would have a tough time deciding, do I want to go pontoon or the first category? We'll talk about that next on the World of Boating. Stay close.
You're listening to the World of Boating Radio Network.
Traffic sucks, unless you're scuba diving with Mike Scott.
Mike glanced down at his dive computer. It showed less than 50 psi left in his tank. Probably just a few more breaths.
Or riding shotgun in a thrilling car chase.
One bullet hit the Jeep's windshield, spiderwebbing the passenger side. Mike shifted into second gear and felt the Jeep leap forward. This just got serious.
Escape your commute with audiobooks from author Eric Douglas. Download to your phone. Go to booksbyeric.com or audible.com.
Do you have a message or product you need to share with the boating world? Well, look no further than the World of Boating radio show. Just like you, thousands of boating enthusiasts are hearing this message, and we could be talking about you and your product or service as early as next Saturday. Remember, a terrible thing happens when you don't advertise. Nothing. Go to worldofboating.com, send us an email, and let's get to work to make your marketing message matter.
You have successfully navigated the Sea of Commerce and now are clear to cruise with the World of Boating.
I do like the water.
The radio show devoted exclusively to the boating lifestyle.
The sun, the sea air, good friends.
Brought to you by worldofboating.com, your internet portal for the boating enthusiast.
Come on, Williams, what are you standing around for here? Get on board.
Get on board. Don't fret. Don't try to worry.
This is the World of Boating. Greg, your first mate, Barry the Boater, Mike the Mariner rounding out the crew as we navigate Boating Magazine's 2024 Boat Buyer's Guide. This is a great resource if you're a first-time boat buyer, and they've broken down into 4 categories of vessels that we're kind of navigating through today. First being runabouts, second was water sport boats, and the third, which I think is the sweet spot for me personally, is the pontoons, only because the technology with pontoon boats over the last 5 years has just skyrocketed. And now you can get such a really high quality, almost like a hybrid pontoon go fast utility vessel. I mean, they used to be just, pontoon boats were the boats that everybody who lived out on the lake or wanted to cruise around the lake would get, have a little party sunset cruise, that kind of thing. But now the performance on these things is phenomenal. You can, water, you can wakeboard off of them. You can scuba dive off of them. You can take them out into deep water. I mean, they've gotten way, way more versatile over the last few years. Would you agree, Barry? What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you, and I really think the first pontoons were probably people that took 55-gallon drums, tied them up together, put a couple pieces of 4x8 sheets of plywood on them.
It was the intro to redneck boating, I think.
I mean,
yeah,
exactly.
And I own that. I'm wearing a redneck hat right now.
Right.
So,
I mean, that is a compliment. Yes.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, the weather out here, at least in South Florida, has been amazing for going boating. The seas have been less than 2 feet for weeks now. There were a number of times I went out there when they were less than 1 foot and I was just flying. And this is in the ocean.
Right.
So normally you would not see pontoon boats out in the ocean. If you don't believe me, go watch wavy boats.
But they've even gotten better handling rougher seas.
Yes, they have to a point. But you can't talk about like Jeff's boats as dive boats because they're designed for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're
But
still
they
not
are
sea boats.
no, but they are.
Pontoons are, they're still not sea boats. I mean, there's some pretty big safety considerations when you get into heavy seas, and you can submarine a pontoon boat pretty quick.
Right.
Yeah. But
Or flip it. Yeah.
yeah. Well, and then again, they're really good for the bays and for that area, and they're almost like runabouts in a way that carry more people. To me, I think they're great family boats.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and for someone like me who wouldn't want to go out in the open water anyway if it was above, like 3-foot seas.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, a pontoon vessel probably would make more sense because you got more deck space. Like if you want to dive off of it, yeah, you can fish off of it. You can put enough power on these things now where you can pull wakeboards and water skiers if you wanted to. I mean, they've just gotten so versatile. And then, you can entertain on them like no other's business. I mean, they're so much more comfortable for entertaining groups of people out on the water or watching the fireworks or that kind of thing, or the 4th of July and everything. You agree, Mike? You in that category too?
It's like driving a big dock with an outboard motor on
right.
it. I mean,
exactly.
You can't get more deck space than a pontoon boat. I had a pontoon boat years ago, and I loved it, but it only went about 13 miles an hour. Back before tri-tunes and high horsepower was all the rage. So, but enjoyed it. Loved to fish off of it. We did a lot of fishing on the St. Johns River on that boat. But it's interesting to see the evolution of design and some of the things that are changing even now. Like when I look at the Manitou Explorer, that boat's really, really interesting to me because most of these tri-tune boats went with large outboard motors and tri-tunes to carry the buoyancy of the extra weight of the motors, and they went a different direction. They put twin Rotax motors, low profile Rotax motors on that boat, and extended the aft deck and got that much more fishing and entertaining space out of it. So the pontoon boat sector is really doing a lot to change that whole
the image, the redneck image that we grew up with. Yeah. The other one that caught my eye was the Bennington 23 RX Sport Swingback. That thing looks more like a yacht than a pontoon vessel by far to me. I mean, all the materials very high end. I mean, it just looks luxurious. It looks like I said, it looks like a cross between a yacht, a fancy yacht, and a pontoon. So if you like a poor man's yacht, maybe. I mean, it's still going to break you, $220,000 is what the one they had tested, listed in Boating Magazine's list of things. But when you look at it and you watch the video and they rave about the materials and everything, I mean, it looks very luxurious. It's fancy. I mean, I'd fit right in there. I'd feel very pampered, right? Don't you think, Barry? Would I look good at the helm of that thing? What do you think?
Oh, I'm sure you would look good at the helm of any boat.
Right. Well, thank you. And that makes me feel slightly uncomfortable. But regardless, okay.
I just can't believe we're talking about pontoon boats.
Yeah, I know. Exactly.
I mean, they just never did. They were just always utilitarian. Mine was about as basic as you get.
Yeah.
But I mean, look at these things. They've got amazing bimini tops. They've got radar arches. 300 horsepower Yamaha motors on them, tri-tune, stereos that are worth more than my house.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just, they've really come a long way. So definitely a sector to look at.
Yeah, and they're still not so big or massive that you couldn't potentially tow them around if you needed to in a decent vehicle. I mean, they're still very towable.
These are
a lot
all
of them.
towable.
Yeah, they're all towable.
All of these are towable.
They're
all of these are towable.
All lightweight. The one I looked at was the Bennington 22 SVSB-SPS. I have no idea what all that's for.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more of the older fashion than what you guys are looking at.
Yeah.
But I look at pontoon boats as not only as a great family boat, but if you outfit it right, this would be a great camping boat. Because you could take because remember these draft very little water, so they can go into skinny water You can find it in the Everglades, take it out into the 10,000 Islands,
Right.
take it down to the Keys.
You're talking about
throw it
turning
in-
into a poor man's houseboat, aren't you, Barry?
Well, but it can't, but not permanent. You know,
or,
so
or
you have the
Barry's
Bimini-
floating doghouse,
But
if you know
would-
what I mean.
Yeah, right. You have the Bimini, and I would want to extend it from bow to stern and actually put isinglass or some kind of windows around it, so you could at least enclose it at night if there's bad weather.
Right.
But this would make a fun thing to go out and spend a weekend on out there in the bay, or even you say July 4th. If July 4th's on a weekend, instead of just taking out the boat for one day, you take out it for the whole weekend. Watch the fireworks and then sleep right on the boat.
Yeah. Well, what about all that extra deck space that you could use for hosting your dive buddy friends?
Absolutely. Yeah, you could definitely have divers on there. And the one I'm looking at says it'll do 45 miles an hour. That's faster than Surprise. That's
Right.
flying.
It's time to upgrade, Barry. I say
No,
you
it won't
buy
fit my garage.
a cool. Well, it might. It's
No,
more
it's-
square. So
It's more square, yeah, which even makes it more of a problem. But it is really not expensive comparable to others. 65,504 is tested.
yeah.
It's got a beam of 8 feet 6 inches.
Which
So,
is
I mean,
standard.
and
That's
it'll
the standard towing
yeah,
towing width.
Okay.
It'll seat 10 people.
I like
So,
it.
Yeah.
Or me and 2 other people very comfortably, which is
Well,
what
yeah,
I
with
prefer,
all the
Barry.
dive gear. Mhm.
Yeah, if you're inshore in calm waters, whether it's a bay or the intercoastal or lakes or rivers, pontoon boats make a lot of sense, especially if you've got a big family or you have a lot of friends, and you need entertaining space.
Yeah.
It's a lot of convenience in a standard.
Well, I think
boat
World of
package.
Boating Crew is in total agreement on that category for pontoons. Next up, fishing boats. Let's see if the theme continues. Stay close to the World of Boating.
You're listening to the World of Boating Radio Network. You have successfully navigated the Sea of Commerce and now are clear to cruise with the World of Boating.
I do like the water.
The radio show devoted exclusively to the boating lifestyle.
The sun, the sea air, good friends.
Brought to you by worldofboating.com, your internet portal for the boating enthusiast.
We now return to Night Boat, the crime-solving boat.
Faster, Night Boat. We've got to catch those starfish poachers.
You don't have to yell, Michael. I'm all around you. Oh no, they're headed for land.
We'll never catch them now.
Incorrect. Look, a canal.
Oh, Night Boat, go!
Oh, every week there's a canal, or an inlet, or a fjord.
Quiet! I will not hear another word against the boat.
I was young, I was dry, but to sail I would go. 1 hour on the water, I was soaked down below. Though I tried, I couldn't hide from my mother's piercing view. But all she would say was, a big boy like you. Wet before, wet behind, we're the members of the Wet Pants Club.
This is the World of Boating. Greg, your first mate. That's me, along with Barry the Boater and Mike the Mariner, rounding out the crew as we navigate Boating Magazine's 2024 Boat Buyer's Guide. 4 different categories we've covered already. Or, well, 3 of the 4, I should say. And, I think they've done a very good job. If you want to check this out, by the way, boatingmag.com is the website to go to. You can get a little bit more in depth there. But the categories, once again, were runabouts, water sport boats, pontoon boats, which seems to be the category we all have gravitated to the most. And the final category is fishing boats. So if you're true
So we're gonna
fisherman,
change that now.
okay, you want a fishing boat then? Is that right, Mike?
Oh yeah,
He's
We're
a
gonna talk about fishing
traditionalist,
boats here.
as we like to say. Yeah, because, if you're really into fishing, it's all about the equipment. Let's be honest. And there's a little bit of swag involved in this category as well. Would you agree with that, Mike, or what do you think?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
By the way, real quick shout out to this is totally off script. Friend of mine, Joey Bloom. He's a professional bass fisherman. He's in a major tournament this weekend, and he was in 4th place this morning and got got announced on his way out, and he's the son of one of my good friends. So
All right.
just a quick shout out to Joey Bloom.
Congrats
Go Joey.
to Joey. Yeah. But when it comes
catch the big
to
ones.
when it comes to fishing, I think it's
Mm-hmm.
almost just as important to look good fishing than it is to actually catching the fish that you're going after.
You
It's
do
always
like the
better
style,
to
don't
look
you?
good than to feel good.
Yes. Darling. Yes. We just dated
Right.
ourselves so much right there. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this is a massive category. You got Grady White, Cobia, Intrepid. I mean, these are, the big boys. And
You
from
could
this
actually
category.
break this category up into probably 5 or 6 subcategories, right? Because there are so
True.
many different types of fishing. This is kind of very general here. You've got bass boats, you've got
Mhm.
flats boats, you've got deep sea fishing boats, and everything in between. So,
Right.
And then you'll have some boats that are just specifically fishing, no other accoutrements, no place to sit other than right at the helm.
yeah,
Well,
like a
especially-
Carolina skiff type of
Yeah.
boat.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
Especially the flats boats and the bass
Mhm.
boats and those kind of things.
Right.
For
So
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
these can take on the realm of fishing as well as runabout, depending on how you equip it.
Yeah. And
Well,
let's
there-
say, like, if you had a pontoon boat, but you got plenty of deck space, you got the speed, if you got it powered properly or with one of the fancier new ones that cruise at high speeds, and you took that out to like a fishing tournament for, like a bass fishing tournament, they would
they'd
frown.
laugh at you.
They'd look at you like, oh, we got one of
Well,
those losers.
Well, a
Yeah.
couple of things, right? So the competition bass boat, like Joey's boat, that boat does 76 miles an hour.
Right.
And there's a specific reason for that, because you have to get out to your fishing grounds,
Mhm.
and then you have to get back for the weigh-in at a specific time. So speed gives you more fishing time.
Yep.
So that's why you see these bass boats that look like a surfboard with an outboard motor on it, because
Yeah.
it's you got
'Cause
a
that's pretty much
250
what
or
they
a
are.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And and if you see these guys on their way back across a lake, trying to hit a deadline, and you'll see them chine walking across that lake. They're at the ragged edge of performance. There's 3
Mhm.
inches of hull touching the water. Really,
Right.
the only thing in the water is the motors
Right.
prop.
Mhm.
So what would
but
you
there's
pick
a-
out there?
Yeah, is there any of those vessels that Boating Magazine put in this category that you're like, ooh, I really like that one? What do you think, Mike?
Well, so the Bass Cat is for bass fishing. That's a great boat. The G3 Sportsman, that's a great bass fishing boat. The aluminum boats, those are actually more for crappie fishing up north, like in Wisconsin. Those are northern type vessels.
Right.
And then you've got, when you start getting into deep sea fishing, which is what I'm into, you start looking at the Grady Whites and the Intrepids and the Pursuits. And I'm a big Pursuit fan. We had a Pursuit in my family for 14 years.
Yeah.
Great boat. They're
Why?
very well made. They're just very well made.
Yeah.
Very all the attention to detail, the materials they use, top shelf for a production boat. Hard to beat a Pursuit.
Yeah.
Um,
Intrepid's
Intrepid's-
in that category too, right?
I would say Intrepid is a more semi-custom boat, so it's not as much of a production boat
Right.
as a Pursuit is. The Intrepids are fantastic boats. They're built over in Pinellas County, Florida. The one that they have here is the 51 Panacea, which is their flagship. And the great thing about that boat is when you look at it, it looks like a center console. But that boat actually has a full cabin
Yeah.
with a bed, air conditioning, a galley.
Fancy. Yeah, I've seen a
It's-
couple of
right.
those. Yeah.
It's not
So
just
if you're
fancy.
going-
Yeah.
It's not what?
Oh, no, it's practical.
It's not. It's practical. So it's
is, yeah.
important. You have certain fishing boats, especially the center consoles, where it'll just be a complete walk around. There's nothing there. Okay, if you get into a storm, you're in trouble. You're going to be wet. I like the idea of having a cuddy or some type of cabin to hide in when the weather gets really bad. And I was looking at the Finseeker 24/5 walk around, which allows you to walk the entire diameter of the boat, but you still have a place to kind of hide when it really starts to get bad out, or if it's just too hot, you need to take a break.
Yeah. But the Intrepid has it has a space in it. Barry.
The Intrepid has a full cabin.
Yeah,
so it
right.
has like a full galley, bathroom, head with a shower, bed, everything. The cool thing about a boat like that, and it doesn't have to be the 51 Panacea. You can find any number of boats in the 36 to 42 foot range that have the same amenities, but you can take that boat and go over to the Bahamas and fish for the weekend,
right?
And just pay a slip fee, stay in your boat. You have air conditioning, you have everything you need, and then you can come back.
Yeah.
That's the way I would use a boat. So I wouldn't be buying a 40-foot boat that is just a center console with no cabin. I would always equip a boat that size with the ability to stay on it overnight and be comfortable, because then you can use it as a true expeditionary fishing boat. You can go across the Bahamas, find a small marina somewhere, pay $65-$70 a night for a slip, and stay for 2 or 3 days.
Well, we've been invited to stay on. I think it's I think it was the 51. Our buddy Walt had one docked up next to his house there, Barry. And they had it equipped with Starlink and said, "Hey, you guys want to come out and do the World of Boating radio show on this? We'll cruise over to the Bahamas. You can do it with Starlink, and we'll be good to go."
Okay.
I haven't seen that invite yet.
Yeah, well, no, you're invited. You're invited.
coming?
You're one step above Barry, believe it or not, there, Mike.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, because we'd rather have Mike on there anyway. No, it's a 51 footer. It's huge. And it's so tricked out technically. It was mind-boggling, and it was very, very fancy, very misleading from looking at it from a distance as well. You don't realize how much stuff there actually is on these things. So there you go.
That's an Intrepid?
Yeah, that was an Intrepid. Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Intrepid,
Yeah.
and we had it all custom built and all the whole thing. It had all the
Great
tricks.
boats.
So that's in the
Yeah.
future of the world of boating. Take it for what it's worth. Hats off to Boating Magazine, though, for their boat buyer's guide. Check it out, boatingmag.com. And that'll do it for this week. Till next time, and remember, whether it's sail or motor,
Life is better as a boater.
Safe boating, everyone.
Come back here, you barnacle-bitten swab! World of Boating is brought to you by worldofboating.com, your internet portal for the boating enthusiast.
Any of this getting through to you, son?
World of Boating is a production of Overboard Entertainment Incorporated.
Computer standing by.
Remember, you can listen live or to archives of past shows worldwide over the internet at worldofboating.com.
Computers can do that?
So tell a friend and come aboard every week for the World of Boating.
This is so great. I can't wait. I'm getting goosebumps. Feel me. Feel me.
The radio show devoted exclusively to the boating lifestyle.
TTFN, ta-ta for now.
The opinions you just heard on the World of Boating are those of the hosts, callers, and guests. They are not necessarily those of any station or network, its management, or advertisers.
What are you being such a weenie for?
While on the water, your safety and the safety of many others depends on you. So boat smart and operate your vessel only after receiving the proper training and instruction for your area.
There is a fine line between genius and madness.
Have any questions or comments? Feel free to do so via the web at worldofboating.com.